The Supreme Court announced on Monday that it would not hear a major case on transgender rights after all, acting after the Trump administration changed the federal government's position on whether public schools had to allow transgender youths to use bathrooms that matched their gender identities. In a one-sentence order, the Supreme Court vacated an appeals court decision in favor of a transgender boy, Gavin Grimm, and sent the case back for further consideration in light of the new guidance from the Trump administration. The Supreme Court had agreed to hear the case in October, and it had been scheduled to be argued this month. It would have been the court's first encounter with transgender rights, and there was a good chance the case would have been one of a fairly sleepy term's biggest decisions. The question in the case was whether Mr. Grimm could use the boys' bathroom in a Virginia high school. There are other cases on transgender rights in the pipeline, including a challenge to a North Carolina law that requires transgender people to use bathrooms in government buildings that correspond with the gender listed on their birth certificates. The law has drawn protests, boycotts and lawsuits. The Virginia case concerned the Obama administration's interpretation of a federal regulation under a 1972 law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex in schools that receive federal money. The Department of Education said in 2015 that schools generally must treat transgender students consistent with their gender identity. Last year, the department went further, saying that schools could lose federal money if they discriminated against transgender students. The Trump administration withdrew that guidance last month.